the next Bitcoin? Which is a question I get all the time, which is, what is going to be the next Bitcoin, right? And sometimes I get asked, what is going to be the next Ethereum? And so that's what I want to talk about.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is about the next big thing, the next 10,000x return, the next investment of a lifetime. Is there such a thing? Let's find out. This gentleman is Andreas Antonopoulos. Andreas is a well-known figure in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space. He is a Greek-British author, speaker, and educator who has been advocating for the adoption and understanding of Bitcoin and decentralized technologies since 2012.
The next Bitcoin, which you might consider investing in, is going to be Bitcoin. But here's why. And this is important to understand. A lot of people are looking for an opportunity to invest in something that did what Bitcoin did since 2009. They're looking for an opportunity to find the next thing that's going to be super successful, that's going to maybe do 10x or 100x in its price. Not going to happen. You got to realize that back in 2009, when Bitcoin was launched, and if you went to anyone and you said, hey, how about instead of governments doing money, the internet does money? And everybody was like, yeah, that's never going to work. That can't work, no. So you got to realize in 2009, nobody believed any of this shit could actually work, which is why it did. Because if you believe it works, what are you going to do? If you actually believe this thing is going to do 10x or 100x, it's going to increase in value 100 times, what are you going to do? You're going to sell everything you have and buy this thing, and then when it becomes 100 times bigger, you're rich, you go home, you retire, I don't know, right? This is what happens with markets. If too many people think that it's a sure bet, you're dealing with suckers, right? And as they say in poker, if you can't tell within 30 minutes who the idiot at the poker table is, you're the idiot, right? So if you're like, no, this is a sure thing, I've told all my friends about it, everybody believes me, you're like, okay, now is the time to get out. And what is the next Bitcoin? And that's the fundamental problem, because there is no next Bitcoin. Bitcoin was able to achieve what it achieved because nobody for 3 or 4 years believed that this thing could work. That's why it did what it did. When you see someone investing in a technology that every single person around them think is insane, and then they make 100 times a return on their investment, the reason they made 100 times return on investment is because everyone around them thought they were insane. They were taking an enormous risk. People today want the same answer. They want to find out, what can I invest in today where I can put in $100 and it's the next Bitcoin and it does one of these things? And the simple answer is that that doesn't exist. And the reason it doesn't exist is because the whole world is looking for that. And when they're looking for that, what happens is people with a lot more experience in markets and a lot more money than you are now interested. The bottom line is that we're all looking for this next opportunity, and the reason it's not going to happen is because of the unique circumstances. Bitcoin found a very unique application, and that was non-government money that can spread globally, that is completely uncensorable, decentralized, unstoppable, and borderless in a pure digital form. Okay, that application in that environment is now taken. If you want to start a new cryptocurrency with its own security, you have to bootstrap that security in an environment where people are going to attack you on day one. On day one, nobody attacked Bitcoin. On day two, nobody attacked Bitcoin. On day 1074, nobody attacked Bitcoin. Nobody had really heard of it. Nobody thought it would work. On day 2500, nobody attacked Bitcoin, right? It took years before anybody thought this thing would actually work to start attacking it, and by that time, it was strong enough to resist the attack. And the only reason rich people didn't buy all of the Bitcoin in the beginning is because they thought it wasn't going to work. But if you try to do it today, they're all looking for the next Bitcoin that they can sell to you, to the people who don't know any better. What does it take for one of these technologies to be replaced? What does it take for something to replace Bitcoin or to replace Ethereum? It doesn't happen because someone invented a slightly better solution, or even a much better solution. That will work. Instead, it can only happen if the system that already occupies this space fully fails on its own. So in order for something to be the next Bitcoin, first Bitcoin has to fail. Like really spectacularly fail. The only way Bitcoin fails is from the inside. It has to fail because of a critical vulnerability that cannot be fixed or that people don't want to fix. It has to fail because of a failure of community. It has to fail because of failure of trust or culture. And that's really difficult to do in a technology that has so many participants who have so many different motivations, different cultures, different languages, different operating systems, different software platforms, all collaborating around one core basic set of ideas. Which should be really bad news to all of the governments and regulators and large corporations that are hoping so hard after 10 years of evidence that it's just not happening, that this year Bitcoin will surely fail. This year, Bitcoin will get shut down. They've been hoping. They've been telling themselves, don't worry, there's no way governments would allow this. There's no way this will be successful. And after 10 years of being wrong, they're still holding on to hope that this thing will fail on its own because they have no fucking clue how to compete with it. Well, here's the bad news for them. The moment it fails, every single competitor that has a slightly better solution, and specifically the ones that fix the thing that caused it to fail in the first place, will flood that environment and bootstrap something new. And if they're really smart, they're going to call it Bitcoin. Because that's the best branding you can do. And so it never dies. Because who occupies the space and has the name keeps changing. But you still occupy the same space. And maybe even you still occupy the same name. And that's why the next Bitcoin is Bitcoin.